dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about.
You were looking for me.
Hey, Mr. Carter.
Hello.
Tell me where have you been?
You know.
They've been asking, they've been searching, they've been wondering.
I know.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Protest and growing national outcry
Just like
continues
a straight
on the
cool
death
follow.
of George Floyd.
Last night, people
like seeing the camera.
protesting in Minneapolis escalated as demonstrators were lashed by tear gas and rubber bullets.
The main message here
The main message here.
Message here,
is that they want to see those officers involved.
they want to see those officers arrested.
Trade my 4x4 for a GC3, ain't no more free little speed. I gave him chance again. I even told him please. I find it crazy the police to shoot you.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Man, I hope that sounded as good as it just felt to say that. I don't know if everybody out there hears it, but I know it felt good when I said it. So I hope that when you heard it, it felt as good as when I said it. Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we're giving you the inside look into all things wellness culture. I'm a trainer called Tony, and guess what? We're back, and I'm here with some gentlemen of extraordinary league guys. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves, please.
Corey Harbison, a.k.a. your trainer, Corey.
KR Jones is back in the building.
We are in the building for
We here.
real. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hold on.
With the hyper thuggish neck tattoo.
Everybody's thugging. We real whole lot of gang stuff happening inside here. We got gang tats. We got bandanas. It's all kind of COVID preparation. We had to do it our way.
The wellness way.
The wellness way. And we're back inside the one and only home. We're back inside the GPS studios one time, fellas. Let's make some noise for that GPS studios coming back in here. What's up, man? What's up, Brianna? How y'all doing? Looking extra cute in the little room back there. Oh, man, we done moved up to the east side on some Jefferson.
Wiggle. She gave us a little,
I saw the shake, the shimmy. It's all good. It's all fun.
That's the shimmy shake.
I know.
shimmy, shake.
I know. Oh, man, fellas, I am so happy to get back inside here that I want to catch up with my guys. I want to make sure that we have all the fun, laughs, and good times because it's been a fortnight since we touched down on these microphones and gave the people what they need. But before we go any further, we have to really make some acknowledgments in the room. Correction. My man Corey, let's take a moment of silence, and can you go ahead and lead us through these acknowledgments in here for those who are not with us?
Let's say these names. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Deion Johnson, and every other life that was lost or traumatized by these recent tragedies. Black Lives Matter.
We are alive in amazing times, in an amazing year. And then the last time that we touched down on these mics, we said something a little bit about people yearning to breathe free. I did not know how true that was going to come across, fellas. I did not know how that was going to play out. But we are here now, and we are amongst each other, and I feel stronger. I feel better than I have in a long time. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and make sure that we touch down on there and make sure that everybody out there, the coalition of the willing, understands that we back on these microphones and we getting back to exactly what we've been doing, standing on this front line, talking that talk, and making sure people understand that we are here to empower, we are here to motivate, we're here to entertain. And there might be some new listeners out there that don't understand what this Off the Strength banner is that we got behind us over here.
Well, tell them
to
what
the
it
new
is.
people. Welcome, new people.
Welcome.
Lend me your ears.
Exactly. Pull up a chair.
You know what I mean?
Keep your mask on. You can stay a while, but make sure you stay distant.
Pull up a chair, but keep it 6 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. Move 6 feet away from your speaker right now as you're listening to this, just so we make sure we maintain the appropriate health standards. One more thing I want to acknowledge before we move on. Now, you hear the three fellas on here. We got three kings on this microphone, but we do have to acknowledge our big brother, homie Troy, is no longer going to be with the Off the Strength constituency. That's right. The homie Troy is moving on up as well. He's moving on to bigger and better things. He is out somewhere in the wee hills of northern New York. I ain't going to get a man full info out like that. You know what I mean?
He out on that 90-acre front lawn he got out there.
Got a
Shout
big
out
old,
to that lawn, boy.
Yeah, got the porch, got the swing set,
what I mean?
all of that. I love the homie, and he's still around with the family. Yo, the family is united. The family is here. We bigger than ever before. But you know, my man had to take care of some stuff a little further up north, so it's a little harder to get back to the city. So we will keep checking in on that brother. We will keep shouting him out, and you better believe he's waving that banner too. So salute to the homie Troy, Mr. Brooks. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you supporting fellas. So last time I was here, I took the train. And we was all sitting around trying to joke around about that thing that was like, you know, that whole Rona, that COVID. I don't know if you guys remember that day, but
No, I don't remember that day at all.
where have you guys been?
That was years ago, fam. That was years ago.
Where have you guys been? Corey, I think it's fair that we start with Corey because Kyle and I started the Renaissance Resistance Radio. We were just bunkered down in the bunker somewhere trying to make sure that we kept this thing moving a little bit. And I had to take a little bit of hiatus that I definitely want to address in a little bit. But the listeners haven't heard my man Corey in a little bit, so I want to make sure they touch down. Corey, how about you let everybody out there know about what your pathway through this whole COVID situation has been? You know, just what's going on in your atmosphere, brother.
I always say when I get a pause, I take time to reflect and I get to break things down. I had a lot of time to pause, so I really got down to the root, the fundamentals of what I wanted to do with myself and who I wanted to be and where I was coming short on my goals, on being, you know, a better man and all those type of things. So that's the main thing I focused on was fixing all the aspects of my life that make me feel well. So my physical health, my emotional health, my financial health, all those things I looked into, my love life, and, you know, streamlined, made myself more efficient, more effective in the things that I find to be important and deciding what things are important. Self-reflection was the main focus at the time that I was forced to have. And then after that, I just decided to, once I reattached myself to the world and reconnected with things, I basically shut it down for a little bit, shut it down for a good couple months.
Yeah.
While we were in quarantine, I was also in verbal quarantine. Those of you who follow me know I didn't even post anything for quite a while. And I still haven't gotten back to my regular form of posting. I don't feel like socially things are regular yet, so I don't do regular things right now. The main thing I did was bring it back and try to go back and listen to some of the shows, follow my own advice. You know, follow the advice of my brothers, listening to some of the things that we've said to each other and we've said to the listeners. And, you know, one of the big mistakes that we always say that we try to avoid is that the professionals don't always do them things. They don't always follow their own advice. We don't always, you know, hone our own craft on ourselves, so to speak. So I wanted to make sure I did that. I want to make sure I sharpened the steel and I really focused internally and got some things done. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, brother. Salute to that. There's some stuff that I want to go back through and pull out from there. But
Absolutely.
Young Jones, can you let the listeners know where you been since we last chucked off with my man from Adori? That's when we stopped, Young Jones.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Jaisal out there. Shout out to the homie Jaisal and the whole Adori crew. But Kyle, what's been going on in your life since we last heard you on this here microphone, buddy?
Man, since y'all last heard me, I've been in Brooklyn, just been cooling. Got the bike moving, a two-wheel pedestrian in the street. I
don't know if you can call
What?
yourself a pedestrian on two wheels.
A two-wheel pedestrian?
But I'm going to go
I
with
feel
that.
like Tony said it before, so I said it, but I guess that's wrong. So we'll call it. I just been riding my bike, man.
Don't put that on me.
That was his.
We gotta
That was
check the
him.
facts
It had
on
nothing
that
to do with me. You know? But nonetheless, I've been taking this time to really relax and figure out what's next. You know, our job market, the wellness market, has just not been the same at all, and it's definitely not something that we're going to go back to the way it was. So really taking that time to rearrange and see what the next steps are moving forward. I got home to be more a couple times to check in on the fam, make sure they were good. Got Mom Dukes to foam roll for the very first time. That was game changer right there, you know. So just being able to slowly introduce recovery and wellness to people that need it, especially those people that are doing all these in-home workouts and Zoom workouts and just not taking that time to recover. So that's really what I've been on, is just in the lab. I've been plotting. We got some things that's about to come out.
Whoa.
hit the streets.
Wheel it back, selector.
just saying.
Wheel it back, selector.
My bad.
We can't give them the premium things just yet. We got to make sure that we get everything set up, situated the right way. You know what I mean?
You're definitely Spanish. You need to
Yo,
stick
you
to
switch up
Yo,
your accents
say
more than
first of
Drake.
all-
This is Drake
first of
over here
all-
with the accent game.
I was about to. I ain't even get you into.
He about to get us with the Habibi.
Yeah, exactly. Habibti flow. Don't even be mad at that, man. Yo, you got.
He was practicing. He knew that
Hell
was
yeah.
coming.
Yo, shoot. Shout out to that dude, man. I appreciate him. First of all, my Latin heritage comes from the Caribbean, if you will. So we Carib Latin people. We talk a little bit of both of those sides. So if you will, Corey. They might be a little bit of patois and Spanish thrown in the same mix, and we showing up at the same party. It's just going to be a lot of pots and pan music, you know, people dancing, grinding, all the rest of that fun stuff. You know, that's how we get down, man. But I want to go back into some of the stuff that you guys were talking about for a little bit. First of all, pedestrian involves the word pedal, which means legs.
I was pedaling.
So there we go. I'll give you that one.
I mean, you know, from the Latin.
You know, from the root word,
The derivative.
I get where you was going.
Pedal.
I'm picking up what you putting down, player.
Pick it up then.
I see where you was at. So all right, we're gonna give Kyle the score for that. He gets on that side.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's survey says and all of that. You know, we gotta make sure he's good. I want to go back through to some of the stuff that both of you guys brought up, in light of that, as I start to tell people where I have been on this personal journey. One thing, Corey, that you mentioned is that you might not have been posting as much or as vocal as you needed to be during these times, or some people were looking for you to do more in that direction. I think I had a lot of people reach out to me and say the same thing, and especially since the show kind of had to come to a stop. But realistically, I want to caution everybody out there listening that just because you don't see somebody doing what you think is the work doesn't mean that anybody is, one, not doing something, and then two, might not have the same perspective on what actual active work looks like for everybody else. I started a 501c, and I'm in the process of moving that across 50 different markets, and we raising real money. So just straight up and down, you might not have seen a black square, but I'm really about this life. So come check the facts before you start to throw stuff out there, and make sure that you did all your Carfax and got the research going. So we are moving, and when we do say, like my man Jones was saying, we got some big things coming. They will be coming down the line. Aside from that, yeah, reinvesting inside of self was critical. You know, initially, I just wanted to keep the ball moving, so to speak, keep the chains going, and wanted to make sure that, you know, we kept this banner that we hung up here as high as possible all the way through that. You know, the first hurdle was, okay, how are we going to record? Broke it down, got it back in the house, started to cook up at home. Made that run as long as possible, but in the same point in time, you know, the world was shutting down, like my man Jones was saying. And as the world was shutting down, I had to close 2 businesses. I had to tend to sick parents. I had to tend to family members that I actually lost along the way. So I took some time off, and I had to be quiet because I had to get myself right too. And that was the most critical time that I've ever gotten to spend really reevaluating, reinvesting, and going through some of these moments, I'd say, in this great awakening that we have all undertaken in some way, shape, or form. I want to walk away from this whole reset. I don't know if it's ever going to be a return to what normal was, but in the land of the new normal, I want to make sure that I take everything that I learned during this time forward with me. And one of the things that I learned is that you're going to meet yourself when you think you're hitting the bottom. You guys had a chance to meet yourself out there when you was going through some of this stuff and had to really reevaluate what was going on. Anybody want to talk to that for a second?
Yeah, I think me and myself had an argument because we had a difference of opinion over the previous self versus the self now. And I switched up what I read, the news outlets, except for like once a day, just to see what was going on and be up on things. One of the decisions that was really hard for me, we can get into as was going on socially, is I decided not to go into the protests.
Okay.
One of the reasons I didn't, the main reason I didn't, is that I wasn't confident that I'm a nonviolent protester.
Yeah.
I don't know for a fact, because I've been in situations like that before, and I was a little bit different at the time. But one of the things I wanted to make sure I did is I didn't want to be contributing to the possibility of it not being a peaceful protest. And I know that my temperament isn't always in control in certain situations, so I decided to keep myself at home for the greater good of that. So I did some other things on the sidelines instead.
And that's important to acknowledge. Like, and again, sometimes the absence of power is the true demonstration of power inside of these circumstances, right? Because when you are systemically, and I say you, I'm talking reflexively about me. I don't want to put myself on anybody else, but after you've seen, I don't know, in a lifetime, probably like the 30th or so incident that looks exactly like this, right? And you're coming across a space where you run out of actual faculties to process and have good control in a crowd when everybody's angry and emotion is high. Removing yourself from that situation is an act of protest in the same sense. Removing yourself from there and then figuring out what it is that you need to do to put yourself in a position where you can make some actual change is something that's going to be beneficial. We are not a monolith, so we don't share anger the same way. We don't share frustration. We don't share sadness. We don't share depression the same way. And I think in witnessing a societal-based depression and a societal-based reaction, yeah, you're going to get some people that need to burn some shit, to be frank about it. I'm past that phase of my life where I can put myself in those situations as well. But at the same point in time, I know I don't have any more cheeks to turn. There's so much that I can do from that frontline position without putting myself or somebody else in danger as well. So I hear exactly what you're saying. And I picked that up, and
I only have 2 cheeks.
Yeah, man, they out. I turned them enough.
Or 4.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you got 4.
I mean, if we go,
I'm not turning them cheeks though, fam. Those.
Listen, I don't know what kind of situation y'all had up. Y'all was turning cheek. You had a different type of quarantine. I see. You was doing all types of stuff.
Hey, when you no judgment about what you do by yourself.
Hey, man, power to you. If you was doing that by yourself, yo, that's a wild situation.
If
but I'll
you
let
was
you get
risking
that.
it for the quarantine,
at home clapping your own cheeks.
Quarantines. You were doing quarantines.
You gotta do them quarantines.
You don't want that, man. You weren't supposed to be doing that out here.
I'm good on that.
Yeah, man.
That was a hard stop.
Hell yeah, bro. But we made it through that, and we was making our progress forward. Anger being what it is, emotion being what it is. It's not a singular effort. It's not a monolithic effort. It's something that has to be expressed. So shout out to you for knowing that you had to have the resolve to keep yourself away from putting yourself in a bad situation, because that is first line of prevention in a lot of ways. I don't want to have to go nowhere where I have to feel like I might have to do something that I'm not going to be happy about in the morning.
Facts.
So I keep myself out of that situation. We are needed to be active. We do need to be as mobile and as vocal as possible. I'm really trying to figure out, guys, with the shaking up that we see on our business front, and I kind of jumped over that really quick in the beginning, but our landscape is completely different than what it was at the top of the year.
Yeah.
Almost sounds a lot like the stuff that we were saying towards the bottom of last year. Now, I did not know. I will not take any credit to say that I knew that this was going to happen to this extent. But the world that we knew does not exist anymore. And you have to be able to play by new rules. And these new rules have different owners, have different operators, and they got a whole new ball game that we out here playing, fellas. And as that's taking shape and evolving, one of the things that I want to challenge all of my coalition of willing people out here, fighters, the exciters, the lifters, the yogis, the benders, the extenders, all of that, all of the like.
The trenders.
The organic thugs.
The OTs.
Okay. The fresh neck tattooers.
Everybody that's out there. If you were sweating and grooving and moving before this whole thing got locked down, shout out to you. And if you picked up a new situation as you're coming through, you got a new in-home workout, shout out to you too. I want everybody to feel empowered by the gift of motion. I want everybody to feel empowered by the gift of wellness, because if you can take that back, you can reinforce and fortify what this existential threat to your health was throughout this entire time. You can make this investment. I'm telling you right now, it's going to pay off tenfold. Get your body where it needs to be, and you'll be able to be in a better position to react against any of the things that are out there in the world, in both the physical and the germ areas, if you will. You know what I mean? So I want to empower these people, guys. I want to get back out here, but I know a lot of us are still down. Man, I told Jones the other day, I was walking around, I was like, damn, man, I missed the gym. I feel like I'm a fiend out here, bro. Seen somebody with a barbell. We was walking through. I was like, yo, dude, can I get a set? Can I get this set, dog? Can I get a curl? What's up?
Outside?
Nah, he was chihuahua pumping. There wasn't no real weight on there.
I ain't even gonna knock him, man, because I've been on.
He was getting to it though. He had equipment that I don't have. So.
That's what I'm saying, man. First of all, trying to order equipment out here has been really nasty work, fam. It's back order. I think I got a set of kettlebells coming to me in 2022. Somewhere on there, you know what I mean?
They're still bending the metal on it.
Yeah. They forging one letter at a time.
Yo, let me tell you how much my fitness game got tested. Going from having every piece of equipment possible and all the best spots and all of that to all of a sudden being like, all right, what do you have in your house that's heavy? I got people doing deadlifts with half full pots of water. And, you know what I mean? I got people weighing water jugs to see how much it weighs, doubling them up, tying them through belts, all kind of crazy stuff just to get the workouts in, because there was nothing else.
Get it how you live.
You got to make it. You got to make it happen.
And wasn't nothing but a D-Block video over here.
Ab work with the baby, using the baby for the hangovers, you know?
Now that seems dangerous.
Yeah, that might be a little tricky.
It depends on the baby.
True.
The squishy babies are real easy to grip, you know?
Yeah.
That's messed up, man.
I definitely got into this mindset of you already have everything you need and use what you have to the fullest extent. So at home, I just already happen to have like a bench, and I had some dumbbells, some resistance bands and things of that nature, a battle rope, like random things.
Oh, your neighbors must hate you, fam. You was in the crib
I
battle whooping?
mean, that was before I was even exercising because we got the outdoor space.
Oh, okay, I
You
got
know
you.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
'Cause if you in the
And
house,
they can't even come in. It's but that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is, I think getting comfortable with understanding that you just have to use what you have, right? Like there's, you can look out for a million years about, oh man, I need this. I wish I had this. So that kettlebell coming 2022.
2022. I'm still waiting.
Get it then? Nah, get it right now. Just do without, and take that time to work on your body weight. Take that time to sculpt on your own.
Yeah, man, I took that time to do a little bit more of the heavy lifting upstairs. So I'm reinvesting and getting back to this God body flow one day at a time. You know what I mean? I touched down on that big 3-4 recently, so I was happy about that. And as I'm looking down into that mirror, I'm like, you know what, Tom? We got to get into some crazy shape, man, because I feel like me and my fellas over here, we're going to be doing billboard type things this year. Oh, yeah, we ain't stopped yet.
You say you going shirtless?
Come
and
on,
doing
fam.
D'Angelo? You
Come
getting
on.
that braided?
Come on, fam. We just now we got Matt. Now we got all three angles. We might have to actually do this, Matt. Yeah, look at that.
Get the corner.
Yeah, man. We might have. All right, so damn, I'm gonna need another couple weeks. Then I didn't know we was gonna come in here with the HD cameras. You know,
You need to get right, bro.
I do. I like how they put the pressure on here. I needed an event to work towards. I feel like that's a lot of people in life. You know,
I mean, you just turned a year older, brother.
I mean, you know,
I feel like the D'Angelo calendar thing. We never did shoot that. I feel like
That's
we
the-
set a date.
we needed
That's
to
motivation.
do that. You know what happened?
We gotta get him cornrows first.
We got to get the cornrows.
There's enough
first.
up there.
The fro's back. You know,
There's enough up there. He good.
the fro's back. I mean, the homie SR did touch on that, so I never like to step on something.
He
that
ain't claim
somebody
it though. He just did it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This in the elevation of my artistry, Kyle. I never like to be there twice. You know what I mean? If somebody already got the example, I gotta
Sound
go.
like an excuse to me,
not an
It certainly
excuse.
does, especially since you should have done it before he did.
right? And he had on jeans. I don't even think you own a pair of jeans, fam.
I might not.
Do you own denim?
Yeah.
I don't think that my
He might have a
sponsor-
sleeveless vest somewhere. He might
got
he might have a
jean
denim
jacket.
vest somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but my sponsor doesn't make denim just yet. So, we'll get there. As soon as they drop some denim, you better believe I'm gonna be wearing that denim. Actually, I do have one pair of denim from them.
It seems like there's a huge miss that they don't have a Canadian tuxedo. But
Come
that's
on,
neither here
listen.
nor there.
Like,
We'll get
come
to that.
on, man.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Shit, in due time. In due time, fellas. In due time.
There is a black and white onesie.
Listen, the real story is that you know how I was giving it up about acquiring clothing anyway. Of course. so this is many years in the making of what I feel like is just that manifest destiny, guys. We've been talking about a lot of stuff, so I know somewhere along this path.
Yo, not even to cut you, but it's speaking on manifesting, right? So I would say maybe about a couple years ago, I was manifesting, just writing some things down as far as like goals that I actually wanted to accomplish. And this was well before I knew the world as we know it would end. Sure enough, everything I wrote down like came to fruition. Like, and it's kind of interesting to understand, like in the midst of
You write
the
some
world,
shit down for me, fam.
I got you, you know what I'm saying? But in the midst of the world, stopping as we know it, it was just like, wow, I can still accomplish so many things that I set forth. And I think it's really a perspective thing. A lot of people are not continue to look forward. Like, I don't think this is the first time the world has ended. Like, you think of the world before the internet. Like, the world ended before. Everything that we used to do before there was internet is a different world than it is now with internet. So it's like now it's just you just got to be masked up. You just got to give you that elbow dap. You know what I mean? It's just a different type of movement, if you will.
Yeah, new rules, new regulations, and things unfold as you start to get acclimated to a new environment, a new stimulus. Yeah, for sure on that front, man. Just going through some of the things to get acclimated to a new work front. Like everybody doing, I don't know about y'all, but I've been doing like 100 Zoom calls a day. I look away from the screen. I see screens when I look away from the screen. My neck hurt after a while from talking to people like this all day. I got to do the Winnie the Pooh where I dress from the top up, and now that might just be me. Try to look.
Wait.
Nah, we don't have to go back into that. No. I
Because
mean,
Winnie the Pooh ain't got no pants on.
that's what I said. But you have to see when you unpack it, it's
Bruh.
less funny, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now everybody on Zoom know
All
Tone
them-
dangling.
all them-
Everybody
all
that
them
talk to
calls
Tone
we
on
had
Zoom
with
know he
Tone.
just swanging underneath that.
Hey
tape.
man, it be hot out there. You know what I'm saying? It's summertime, baby. I'm gonna put a shirt and tie on, but I ain't say I had to keep the whole fit.
Tone on full full swing under that table.
Hey man,
Tone out
we
here
gotta
with the
take
fruit out the loom.
we got you know, hey man, listen, you gotta take care of business. However, you gotta take care of business.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what
you
I
gotta
mean?
air that thing out, man.
So we out here trying to get used to that. You guys have to make any adjustments on the work front, and you know, really see how this landscape is starting to take shape from you. I know, Corey, you said you've been doing more classes and things along that line online. How's that been for you?
So I've been wearing pants the whole time.
You know,
I
that's
killed.
what's up.
I actually killed my classes. I'm not doing classes online. I'm only doing one-on-one work, and
Okay.
it's primarily because I'm very interactive in classes, and it's really challenging to do interactive work on Zoom.
Yeah.
Just for me, no knock to how anybody else does their thing, but I'm not really good for just like a dictator type workout. Like I want an interactive class. So as a consequence, I paused that, and everything is one-on-one. Doing a lot more of the one-on-one work with people and working on balance and other things, especially being that like you said before, we don't have the same levels of equipment, we don't have the stuff available. So it's really been a good challenge and good for me as development to work with less and change the game and focus on different things. And all right, we have a 3-foot space you got to work in. What kind of work how can we develop your body in 3 feet?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. It's been really interesting. It's been challenging. And I think my relationship with my clients has gotten a lot deeper because we've had to have all these conversations about the real world in the midst of the workouts. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. For sure. I would imagine that, you get to a much deeper connection with the clients on that front, man. And Young Jones, I know you've been stepping it up in the entrepreneurial spirits, brother. How you been dealing with this situation since you've transitioned from your old situation and now moving on to your own?
Man, I'm going to keep it a thou, keep it all the way real that my unemployment was more than my salary gig.
Hey, man.
So
Shout out to the hustlers.
with that being said, I was making more money not working than I was working, which is a mind fuck in itself. But, sure enough, you even that out, work through it. As far as going back to work, that's not happening. The studio's not opening no time soon. You know, I don't even know what my affiliation will be moving forward with that. So that is what it is. Thanks to you two gents, I realized that I am not a group fitness instructor long ago.
Yeah.
In an old establishment that we won't bring up. But
That's all right. They ain't open, man.
yeah,
You
they
got
ain't
it.
open. They was closed before the Rona came.
Hey, man,
You know what I'm
listen.
saying?
Pour some
Now-
out for those homies, you know?
No,
Nah,
don't pour that out. We need
good. Keep all your liquor.
See,
But
I'm in a
think,
different space, man. I'm
Nah,
on.
I ain't gonna waste no liquor.
Yeah, of course. Not in this time.
Nothing wrong with you, but I ain't gonna waste no liquor.
I did maintain to keep a handful of my good clients that I still train one-on-one who actually have like equipment in the crib and things of that nature. But full on, I'm diving into this entrepreneurial life. Like I finally have the backing that I need, and it just makes sense to work for me and put this energy to reinvest in myself, as you said earlier, Tone, to move forward, because I just really don't see myself working for anybody else. I said that before I got into my last gig, and I see how that turned out, so it's like, yeah, I might as well just bet on me at this point.
Yeah, I think that's a notion that I share with you too, Kyle. I don't know much of any of my next moves are going to be done with a level of that much certainty. I can't tell you that I'll never work for somebody again in life, but as of right now, it started 2 new companies. Hopefully working on a 3rd soon, and obviously we got the People's Republic of Off the Strength that we're holding down, and we're going to take from the pod and make it to the conglomerate that we know it's going to be. So that's another business in and of itself. I feel like my main thing is that I want to create and collaborate with the people that I know are of value, because what I learned throughout the course of that time is that the solutions that I could produce and the answers that I can give to people who I can get money from but don't necessarily value, I'm always going to be left feeling like I'm unfulfilled at the end of those projects, right? So if I don't own the project, even if I have a piece of it, it's not truly mine. How excited am I going to get about seeing this all the way through to completion? And if and when something goes wrong, how am I going to feel about that whole process when people start to look around, fingers go pointing, whatever the case may be inside of that situation, right? So one of the things I had to learn about that is that I'm not taking on projects that I'm not extremely passionate about, regardless of the compensation that comes along with it. And when I do show up, I have to be 100% myself. And now as I've met myself on that road, I'm just determined to really be as diligent for myself to show up and be able to create freely as possible inside that scenario, man. So we talked about the work front. We started to dabble a little bit on the home front because that had to be a little bit of adjustment too, because if you're working and, you know, you kind of chilling in the same spot, I know that had to be a little bit of a mental adjustment for a lot of people out there, a lot of the listeners out there combating some of this stuff. You know, how you guys breaking up the work and home front as you're starting to be in the same space for a little bit more of a prolonged time?
It was a huge difference for me because I also got to a smaller space at the same time.
Yeah.
So I moved from a bigger place to a smaller spot, and making that adjustment was crazy anyway. Then turning out that I'm going to only exist in this smaller spot for a while.
Yeah.
That was a huge change. But what I really learned and what I really got from it, and I'm glad it happened, is that I realized that I don't need as much as I thought I needed. Running a lot leaner got me to appreciate the things I had more. I got down to like cooking everything from scratch and, you know, not enclosing my circle, not reaching out to things that I didn't need, and not traveling too far to get things, and not saying I have to have this exact thing. Let me just create what I need, and just being a little more self-reliant, a little more, you know, bringing everything out from the earth and from my circle around me instead of always reaching to the outside to try to get that, like, that thing that's already prepared.
Hell yeah, man. You got to be resourceful in this piece, babe.
Yeah.
I understand
so
where you at.
The whole home front changed from that. The whole home front changed the way I look at all the things I do and the time I spend. Got to change drastically, and I got to read a lot more.
Hell yeah, man. It's important. Your environment is going to have a direct impact on your ability to feel good when you're getting into that reading situation, you know? Jones, I know you've been making some home improvements too.
Of course. I'm just at a point where I'm very appreciative of my home.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I spent a little more than I would like to spend, but I knew that it would come back in the long run because it was comfortable. Like, I know that I got space, me and my roommate Kyle, you know, that's the homie, you know.
Kyle and Kyle.
Black cows got to stick together.
I see that.
You know,
Black cows do matter.
Both the
They
black
both do
cows
matter.
stick together.
K squared, you know, we need a reality show coming soon, don't worry. But nonetheless, being able to be comfortable, like, and not having to stress, everything is near me as far as like grocery stores. I got, you know, a little outdoor space so I can get my sunlight in a safe distance from other people and things of that nature. Like, it's really just peace, man, and tranquility. So I'm fortunate to have that because I know a lot of people don't, you know, and I understand that as a privilege that I have. So I'm happy for that. All the homies is moving into new spaces, you know.
Hey, God.
Yeah.
You know, you on the move.
Yeah, man.
You know,
yeah.
moving on up to the east side.
Man, I'm
you
only
know.
3 blocks from the old crib, man.
Is it
same
3
number,
blocks
same hood.
east?
Yeah, nah, we ain't got to give them the specifics. You know? We ain't got to give them all that. But
Nobody know you lived that in the first place.
that's exactly the way we're going to keep that, too.
I got jumped on for putting a direction in. You see
You know,
what happened?
it's like we 3 blocks, but, you know, I moved them 3 blocks. I'm still
You
square.
don't know what block we started with.
Exactly. You know, shout out to that block. I'm holding that block down.
No, you're not. You don't even tell them you're on this block.
Exactly. For real, though, I'd say ritualism is something that's critical, especially in the time when your environment isn't changing as much. Like, yo, on some real shit, before I go to work, I do have a commute every day, even though I commute my ass right back to the same spot. I get up in the morning, I got to go moving. I'll go out, you know, move around that space, and I'm moving 3 blocks from the other one, so I ain't going to get too many descriptions about how I'm moving.
Do you put your pants on before you go outside?
You know, that's before.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. Out here, Winnie the Pooh. It's real early in the morning. You know, you got to do that thing.
Charles Johnson maneuver.
But he got a mask on it.
Yeah, man, you gotta stay safe. You gotta stay safe, you know, stay strapped out here, you know. But seriously, the commute is something that I found honestly helped me reset my mind to get into the preparation that I need to get into work mode. You know, so any little things that go along in that line, whether it's the candles that you're talking about or the plants, moving something around to really start to set your intention on what your action is going to be, I found that really helpful. So finding rituals out throughout the course of the day is definitely a good hack inside there. Maybe we can hit some people off with a little more hacks as we start to go through on this side, man.
Yep.
You know, so we talked about the work front. We talked about the home front. Like I said, I'm updating a lot of stuff. I'm in between. Moving during COVID is a different situation on its own. I had the no-knock delivery. That means that I ain't got none of my shit when I look for it. So I got to still go out there and find it and try to see what's happening. But aside from the home and the work fronts, which are important, there's always room and elements for play, fellas. Now, I got to understand in my directions over here, fellas, what's been going on in the play world, and you could take play however you're doing it. Kyle, I remind you that you are on an HD camera.
Everybody saw you do the little pokey motion. That wasn't low key.
There was nothing about that. We got that on 3 cameras.
Everybody saw you.
Smile. You're on candid camera.
So I don't know what you thought you were doing.
I knew what I was doing.
There we go.
Oh, I always know.
Why don't you start us off then, man? What's the play situation been like? You could take that however you need to take that, man.
The play situation has been fun, man. I think we got to get into our inner child self a little bit more.
Exactly.
And just the freedom of riding my bike, man. Truly, I can't speak on that enough. The riding with no hands down the street on a hot Brooklyn day, listening to some tunes is the freedom that you just don't get too often, to just play in the street, play in traffic. Like, yeah, it's dangerous. I mean, but yeah, life is dangerous, you know?
Now, I don't know if I endorse all them statements, but
the
I'm gonna go
other
with
play
you.
we talking about here, you know, the one-on-one, if you will.
Is it always?
I don't know
The
what you
intermingling.
entanglements.
But
That's what you're
twins.
talking about.
Nah, we're not doing entanglements.
Them
over here.
entanglements?
You're not entangled? You're not
doing
betwixt
entanglements?
anything?
Oh,
Playing a
man.
game of Twister.
Yeah, hey, butt naked?
The boy, when you put the left foot on the blue.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're talking about, but on some real, I mean, there's probably a conversation to be had there, in light of this new Rona era. What is the dating situation like out there, fellas? Because, I mean, I'm ducking
they
and
giving it
dodging.
up off rip.
Oh, I know. I'm
Yo.
saying I'm ducking and dodging. I'm diving and ducking.
Yo,
you got to keep 2 straps on. You got to keep the face strap.
Shout out to all the people that
And
was
the waist
worried
strap.
about Corona and not about.
nah.
No, real talk
If
though.
you
Shout
having
out to
sex with a
everybody that was
mask on,
worried
you
about
are filthy.
Corona.
Individual.
You getting a bandit style, yo. Don't be mad. Why you got to be mad at me, man? You got to give it up to the bandits out here.
No,
you
that's
know what I
filthy.
mean?
You not.
Don't show up with the mask on and the rubber off. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's what
Yo,
I'm saying.
come
Something
on,
gotta
man.
give.
How you protected from Corona, but you got herpes? That's
Come
not
on,
cool.
man.
That's
You
not
gotta,
cool. Don't be out here in these
decisions.
streets like
You
that.
gotta make decisions, man. Now, I've seen people trying to do the social distance dating scene. That's not really my move. I was trying to understand it.
How does that work? Like
Brother,
afterwards?
I'm not the guy. I don't know.
Like how does that?
I don't know.
Because when you got to close, where we going?
But what I'm saying is that's a lot of risk.
there's hazmat suits involved,
Yo,
power
Me,
washing.
I'm not on the subway, so I'm biking. So
Yeah.
if we're not biking together, then that's cutting half the population right there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting in an Uber with you. You know what I mean?
All I'm gonna say is shout out them bike gangs out there, all out in New York City.
All I know is a lot of people who used to see me don't see me no more.
Hey, man.
That part.
Yo, real talk. Like there's a whole separate side topic. When people are down or when I'm down, I was able to see a lot of people that, probably didn't need to be in that circle anymore, that didn't need to be around, and shout out to whoever they need to be. But you learn a lot about people when uncertainty comes in. It's easy to show up and be all happy-go-lucky, positive when stuff is good. But when it gets a little bit rough, it gets a little bit nervous, you get to really meet the true essence of that person. So there's been a lot of people that didn't make it all the way through that transition.
I'm sure you guys did too, but a couple of listeners reached out.
Facts.
Had some really dope comments. Like shout out to Aaron from Michigan.
Yo, what up,
shout
man?
out to CC,
What up,
Dave,
CC?
Corey. I'm missing some people, but I had
we got fans.
I had some good combos with people. Some people came back and said like how things have changed. Looking forward to what's coming back. Shout out to Victoria. I got to give you love.
Hey, peace.
We've had a lot of good combos with people, and I personally was a little worried that like as we were disconnected, we would lose touch with people, and I don't think we did. I really feel like a lot of people on pause the way we were, and now we back.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to the other pods out there, too, that we pulled up on and was touching down with. I say shout out to the Introverted Intuitions crew. Matter of fact, shout out to everybody on the GPS squad, all the way
what
up,
up,
top
y'all?
to bottom.
Shout out to In Living Black, the homies
And
over
Living
there.
Black,
Yeah.
for sure. Matt, I don't know how many people actually came back to the studio, but we're going to do this telethon eventually. Matt is in the booth. We got to shout out to Miles, too. I forget the homie Miles. When you do see him, give him a social
Miles,
distance.
Yo,
hug.
Graves, follow Graves on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to be reunited with the whole fam over on there, Shout out to the Trippy homies over Super Trip Talk, for sure.
Oh.
Definitely had the plug on that side,
Brianda.
Yeah, Bree and Ty. Shout out to Ty, too. Don't
Ty
forget Ty.
Peso son.
Got to give Ty some love, We got to make sure we pull up, man. I want to understand what all them podders been podding at, see what they was up to.
I mean, as the Podfathers.
Yeah, nah, we can't take that on.
Where good looking Lee at? Where's she at?
What up with Lee?
Good looking Lee in a minute.
What all that stuff that she be on? So we gotta get them all back up in here, Matt. We gotta know what the schedules are so we can start to tighten these up.
Lee, I catch you in the studio with some dust on your kicks.
We gonna
Coming
do.
for you.
We're gonna do a new version of Hollywood Squares, but just with all podcasts. That's what we're gonna come across with.
Pottywood Squares.
Exactly. That's how we coming across it, man. You know,
Come
trying to
on,
make
that was
this
off the
thing
dome,
work.
man. No hate, no hate.
I don't endorse that one.
Oh man, Corey, what's been on your play side, player?
Man, I've been
What you been doing for fun, homie?
playing with myself.
I mean, you got to. You know?
Okay.
You know,
Two
when
hands for safety?
Yo, when I say I kept the quarantine clean, yeah, you good because thing get heavy. You can get
I
carpal
mean,
tunnel.
come on, you got
You
it.
get carpal tunnel out here, man.
Switch.
Lifting heavy objects without warming up first. You know what I mean?
Switch.
Got a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2.
Yikes.
Nah, but realized that like, yo, a walk is just dope. Like I always used to love a walk.
Outside.
That was my meditation
In general.
But fam, I was dipping on a walk for like 40 minutes, an hour. I dipped on a walk one time for 6 hours, fam.
Man.
I went on a self-reflective, meditative walk, and I ended up almost out of Brooklyn. Like I was on a completely different part of Brooklyn, and then ended up looping back through.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I walked
I feel it. I think
like Kane and Kung Fu.
outside in general is just something that we kind of took for granted, you know, but when things started to shut down, and I think that you don't need much. If it's you outside on your stoop, on your porch, your backyard, across the street from where your apartment is, like even things like walking on the opposite block that you live on can feel
Change the whole situation.
it's a whole new feeling because you're so used to doing the mundane things over and over again. And I think the beauty is when you get out and do something different that you wouldn't normally go. I told you a while ago, I always live my life. If somebody invites me somewhere and I've never been, I always say yes. If I have been there, maybe I'll be like, I ain't trying to go this time, you know, but taking those opportunities to get out and explore.
Yeah,
still.
man.
Yeah, I learned a lot about my neighborhood because you know how it is. Like you go to the spots you go to, you don't necessarily dip through your little side blocks and everything. And I just moved to a new neighborhood to begin with, so I found a lot of like low-key spots and a lot of little local food joints that were fire.
Yo, to be honest, that's what made me want to stay in my actual neighborhood, man. Just being around there, like as I was
Yeah.
thinking about moving out, I was like, yo, it ain't bad down here. I like where I'm at. I like where I'm staying.
Sometimes you got a nice
In
little
that
tuck
one part.
In that part of wherever
place
it's
that
at.
we not
in
gonna
that
speak
area
of.
that resides.
You know? Nah, I'm in the People's Republic of Brooklyn, you know. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Everybody else know who comes from there. County of Kings all day. You know what that shit's about.
Is that the Brooklyn sound?
County of
No,
Kings.
that's
Nah,
not
he on
Brooklyn.
the
Yeah.
coast. He on the coast.
Sounds quite.
That was Ice Cube.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let Kyle shake off some of that, Russ. That was the West Coast thing, you know.
It was an agreement.
I hear you, brother. But I'm gonna come right back to you because if we're talking about perspective and we're talking about being outside, we dare not come in here and not mention Prospect Park.
Oh.
And the perspective that has come across in Prospect Park. Now, Jones, I'm gonna put you on the spot. And I'm gonna ask you a question, Jones.
Hit me.
Do you want to tell the people about how well you know the park and how you got to know the park?
You goddamn right.
Well, why don't you share that with them, man?
So in the space of exploration, one of the things I definitely ventured into throughout the quarantine was mushrooms and experimenting with. I can't even say that.
Portobello, cremini.
No, I'm talking about the drug. That's
Oh,
what
he's
I'm
talking about psilocybin, Corey.
psilocybin, if you will, and taking them in nature and being as though that it's just Brooklyn and we are on an island and there's a lot of water around, but Prospect Park is just like almost the centerpiece of that. And there's literally everything you need there. There's water, there's grass, there's fields of play. You can hike in Prospect Park. And every time you go there, it was, in Tony's words, it's kind of like just walking through your brain as you walk around there, you know? So as I'm experimenting on these different psilocybins, there they are, it just allowed me to open up to a deeper understanding of connectivity, man, and really understanding nature and looking at a tree and having that conversation with a tree like, yo, we all trees, we just walk. Look, yeah, you see that look in his face right there? That's
He's
the one.
getting into it, man.
That's the deep science.
You might
about
have
to get in on an Arbor Day.
I was about to say you might have to unpack that a little bit for them, brother. They might not be ready for the levels to where my man Jones is going, but I do appreciate that, man. Everybody's being connected and we're all grounded. I really do think. Scratch that. I know because there are studies happening out at certain universities where they're treating treating depression with psilocybin, and they're treating a host of different, I'd say, neuroplasticity related issues with this chemical compound. I know the powers of that to heal severe depression. I know the powers of that to inspire people and the powers of that to get different types of focus. Under the right instruction, I do think that this is something that people of color really need to explore a little bit more and definitely dive into, especially when you're trying to get to know yourself better. It's not one of those drugs that you get to numb stuff. No, that's not it. It's not one of those things that take you away from a situation. It's actually going to make you have to dive deeper into that. And as we dove deeper, you know, one of the highlights of the summer, honestly, has been me and this homie Jones riding around on his bikes and getting into the park and really starting to discover some of what this real healing situation is supposed to be about. I share with the listeners just one story of a brother that we was out there with who I'd known in passing, but didn't really, I would say, know him to a deeper level. And seeing this brother actually heal in front of somebody, like actually start, you know, going through an emotional passing and really like connect with stuff and just cry out of pain, emotion, exhaustion, and all the stuff that we've been going through this whole litany of this year. Bet you that homie felt better after we sat there and we talked and we meditated and we got connected to these fields, grass, thickets, all of that things inside the park. It was a beautiful situation. It's definitely something that I keep as a part of the totems that I need in my life to make sure that everything that I'm doing is going to be in a space where I'm connected, I'm grounded, I'm rooted, and I'm moving towards that alignment where purpose and passion can exist. So I definitely champion and echo where my man was, Young Jones, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate his mind expanding on that side.
I mean,
The
they
mind
always
grows
said,
with the beard, fam. I see you.
they always said marijuana was a gateway drug. So.
Oh man,
Here we
he's
go.
jumping ships.
This is it
He's
for
jumping
me.
ships, mixing and blending. He's coming to the same party. He's doing all different types of stuff. He went from portobellos to the flowers. Oh man, he's doing all types.
But not for nothing, man. I think it was really good to just see a different perspective, as you were mentioning it, and that healing is something that just, as black men, as you know, Americans, however you want to put it, like we just don't get that chance to reflect and understand things on a deeper level. And I think when you have that opportunity to do so, take it and continue to grow from it, and that you can only learn.
Yeah, man, it's an instilling of values, right? And reinforcing values. As we start to, I think one of the things that's going to come out of this whole situation is that the bigger business, so to speak, is going to still be able to proliferate, but those small little mom and pops that you're doing everything that you can are going to need all the types of help that they can get to make payroll that month. All the types of help that they can get to, you know, pay those utilities for that month. It doesn't matter what kind of shop it is. I know everybody's having a little bit of a hard time. We could, in some way, shape, or form, be witnessing the last legs of what retail experiences are across all genres, right? So realistically, how we support our neighborhoods, how we invest to spend and give a little extra when you can, or even help out, shout out people on that side, like to keep them around. If you see a business, you like a business, you got to work for that business in some way, shape, or form to keep it in your neighborhood, or that thing ain't going to be there no more. You know, even the big multinational chains is closing down. So, you know, mom and pops is having the hardest time. They got hit. Small businesses got hit harder than most other types of businesses across there. I think I could say the statistics for the wellness side, at least, is predicting a 40 to 60% reduction on all of the market. So 40 to 60% of the market going away is a whole lot of businesses closing down their doors. There's a lot of people that once that last little loan goes off and your rent is due again, you don't have a space anymore. A lot of people are technically in limbo because they're still getting the grant money, but they're never doing another class, and they might as well keep people paid for as long as they can. But realistically, you know, we got to support where we can. So I definitely want to go back through when we reinstitute, we get back inside here and we come across, you know, with that fastest variety hour that we come through, kicking that full body karate, whatever the case is. We got to make sure we highlight these businesses, and we got to make sure that we uplift, elevate, and support where we can responsibly, because I feel like that's part of that privilege, man. We built up this platform. You know, I know we had listeners near and far all over the world. We're going to get them back inside there. You know, we got to send out the bat signal. We might get a little amplification coming around this time too. So when we do get that light, we're going to shine it in the places that we're going to shine it, you know, and make sure that we do what we're supposed to do when we get there. You feel me?
I overstand you.
We can't be hitting them with all that, man. Yo, Kyle be wanting to go to the Law and Order scenes, like the special victims unit.
You trying to get ticks.
You, nah,
you trying to get Lyme disease out here. That's
he
what
was
you
trying to
doing.
have you in all types of messed up stuff. Yo, this man tried to have me ride through a full crime scene on my birthday. I was like, yo, homie, what are you doing right now? They damn near about to put the chalk outline out here. Yo, nah, you want to see? He was on some want to see a dead body. It's like, no.
Poked her with a stick.
No, I don't want to see none of this.
Listen,
It's like, what's
man.
wrong with you?
You gotta push the edge in the envelope a little bit to make sure you still got it.
You
know?
could do that.
Nah.
You know?
So, see, you caught off some of them trails on Prospect, and you end up seeing like Blair Witch Project scenes.
Nah, I'm good money in Prospect. I'm talking about out in like the projects. It's out next to empty piers.
You know why
and
they
stuff.
call it a project? 'Cause
Yes,
it's a project.
I know. I've been in. I had to live in them for a while. For a while. I know what's going on over there. I don't need to adventure there. That's not my situation.
In my project.
Yeah, man. I know what that situation is. You know.
I'm just down for a good ride, man. Good story to tell.
Yeah, you about to have a story. You gotta make it home to tell the story, though,
You
brother.
come back with your bike ain't got but one wheel.
Yeah, that's
When
the
you
real
unicycling
situation.
your way home.
Yo,
Just
looking
wheelie all
tragic.
the way home. I don't need the front wheel. Take the front.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Sidebar on some real
That's for
Frank
you,
Ocean.
brother. That's for you. You take that wheel.
You pull up looking a little too crazy, you better have to be out at the light, man. They told you about it. Stefan told you could lose your life. They trying to let you know.
They're smoking that la la la.
Exactly, gents. Oh man,
Gateway drug.
you gotta get out of that. You gotta get out of that. Speaking of gateway drugs, we need to gateway into this next topic because we've been beating around this all
Seen
over
your
the place.
segue back.
We gotta get back in here, man. We gotta get ready to go into this next
Throwing them
situation,
no
fellas.
look passes again.
Yo, we got to be ready to move, man. And as we ready to move, I want to talk about a little bit of some of the stuff that I'm excited about coming down into these next couple episodes. So since we opened the studio on some Diddy stuff, you know, this the making the band, you know, chopper style. We getting back inside here. The studio was shut down. You had to open the studio
You
back
said you
up.
about to freestyle?
Nah, I mean, you know, I got bars for you,
Hit
homie,
us.
if you
What's
need
up?
it. You
What's
know,
up?
if you
What's up?
need them, I
What's
got
up?
these bars.
'Cause you
But
know-
what was more important was the question that I had to ask you.
Go ahead.
Yo, you
before
put him
I
on the
was getting
spot, but he ain't never
walkthrough.
on the spot.
See, that's why I was Porky Pigging it with the death set.
Not Porky
Cass
Pigging.
wasn't
Fam,
understanding.
Not Porky Pigging.
I was out here
Winnie the
for-
Pooh was bad enough.
Come on, man. I was out here Porky Pigging it,
He was
you
out
know.
here.
Bottoms down.
My man out here, Yogi Berra,
You know, I'm out here trying to give it to Yogi.
with his boo-boo out.
Yogi had the tie on. He knew what was going on. He was like, yo, check this out. The meekness is only from here up.
Yogi was butt ass.
Yo,
He had the hat and the tie.
yo, is the camera under the table?
No, man, we good. We good money.
I always dreamed too of being like on like CNN and being able to express myself and speak for like the voiceless young men of America. The first step I would say, I grew up in America in a ruthless neighborhood where we are not protected by police. We grew up in ruthless environments. We grew up around murder. You see murder. You see 7 people die a week. I think you would probably carry the thing yourself. Would you? Yeah, I probably would.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we're giving you the inside look into all things wellness culture. I'm a trainer called Tony, and of course, with me, I have some gentlemen of extraordinary league guys. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves, please.
Your trainer Corey, a.k.a. your favorite trainer's favorite trainer.
K.R. Jones is in the building.
Yay, yay!
So much energy in that.
Oh, I think
That's the libation that you got in me right now. On an empty stomach.
Shout out to that night-night.
Thank you for Corey for sponsoring the libations for this evening. And folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all types from near and far, you are in store for a treat because this is the return of our variety hour. That's right. Folks, this is when we give you our best foot forward, so hopefully you, in return, take your best foot forward and make the rest of the happenings of your week that much more impactful. God damn it. Gents, we back on the cursing this episode, too. We had to play.
Right, we are.
It's money time, man. We get back to it.
I'm triggered.
Motherfucker. I just wanted to say that. I had to get that.
Had to get it. You
I
guys,
had to get one out.
you know, as long as you
It's
use
been
it,
like 4 episodes. I
Yeah,
haven't said
man.
a motherfucker yet.
you got to use it liberally, like salt and pepper. You
Yeah,
know, you just
yeah.
got to make sure you just sprinkle it on top. Make
There's
sure
more
you-
seasonings than that. But
Yeah.
just in case if anybody's listening and doesn't know, there are more seasonings than salt and pepper.
Yeah, you know, we figure this shit out. You know, we get to it, man. But as the shenanigans ensue, fellas, let's let the good listeners know how your week has been, what's been going on, and are you as excited as I am to be rejoicing in the return of the variety hour?
I am not as excited as you are, but I am highly excited. My excitement level is here. Tones is at the top of the fro.
No, I'm up there with excitement. I'm just happy Tone got on pants today.
On 10-10-10-10.
Wait, was he Winnie the Pooh in it?
Nah, man, I got the shorts on, you know.
Why'd I look though?
Yeah, exactly.
God forbid he wasn't wearing pants. And I
wanted
just
to
looked
know.
under the table.
You know, that's what I'm saying, man. I got the shorts out,
man.
you know, thighs is high. But we keeping
Inquiring
it going.
minds want to know, I guess.
I don't want to inquire. I
Listen,
don't know what the hell I was looking for.
When we set up the off the strength OnlyFans, all I'm saying is you got to be ready to deliver.
He almost choked on the mask and the drink.
We lost Corey at the OnlyFans
Come on,
off the
man. You
strength.
can't talk about OnlyFans when I got whiskey.
Why not? You could put workouts on OnlyFans. It don't have to be where your mind took it. That says what that say about you, Corey.
No, that's what. Come on now.
What that say about
That
you?
is not what the culture
If I'm
is
making
doing.
an
That
OnlyFans?
is not what the culture is doing, sir.
What is your-
Don't you try to pull that on me.
What do they say
don't you
their
try to hoodwink
website
me, sir.
is dedicated to? What does the actual maker say that their website is dedicated to?
It's partially owned by Pornhub, isn't it?
No, it's not. That is what it's been co-opted by. But you can do a lot of stuff. And
I've seen them do a lot of stuff.
listen, in this day and age, we have to diversify our options for revenue streams. So I'm not turning any stone or leaving any stone unturned, I should say.
Let me tell you, if you keep turning your stones on OnlyFans, we're going to have a whole different show.
We gonna get these numbers, man. That's what's gonna happen. But that's not even where we was
I
going.
think we back to the D'Angelo challenge now is what it sounds like.
Listen. If we doing something strange for some change, we're gonna make this shit happen. But that's not where we was going. Get back on the track. What's the week been like? How y'all been feeling? What's going on? Stay in track.
Well, I've been putting together my OnlyFans. Mind your business. It's only for the fans.
Hey, man, the week has been good. I'm happy that we back on the variety hour for the good folks, you know,
Hell yeah,
because
man.
they haven't been putting their best foot forward because you ain't been out here giving them rip from the headlines. And I personally missed it because I felt like that's when I was tapped in.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I feel like I needed to know how to raise the bar.
Oh.
And I felt like it
We
might have
need-
even been something that we both needed.
We need that moment of
Moment
clarity.
inside here. So
You
we
know what? Let's get some flowers to your flowers, too. Like, shout out to the hair diversity we got going on. Like,
Oh,
that is fire, son.
I got
like
a
what
lock
you got
sock.
doing.
You got a lock
I'm
sock.
sorry. Say that slowly one more time.
It's a lock sock that was gifted to me by my little sister. Shout out to Bria, you know what I mean? But I'm experimenting here. This is what I call the pineapple.
The pineapple.
It does look pineapple.
Respect your pineapple. You finally look like your little crazy emoji looking dude that you had on there.
Does that affect your aerodynamics? Does it affect your bike riding? Because I noticed you got
it
like
gives
a lean.
me
Is it like a
gives me
spoiler?
that speed so I can do these.
So it keeps you from popping up out the seat. It's got like a
Exactly.
little spoiler right
It
here.
keeps me all
bet.
in one place.
So I see what type of bullshit y'all on today. That's what we going.
No one can prove the
It
shit was
keeps
from
me
a
high
book.
when I'm low, but
Yeah.
low when I'm high.
I hear you. I hear you. You know what I mean?
Word, all of that. Corey, did you do anything of note this week? Still just trying to get out the gate.
I did some things on my note.
Yeah, exactly. Well, y'all just was on chill having a good
No,
time.
you know what I did? Actually, the main thing I did was I picked up my patent for the purpose of just writing.
Okay.
I had like deadlines that I created for myself for some things I wanted to write, and I was like kind of hemmed up. And two things I realized: one is that I'm now like comfortable in this place, so like in my apartment. So once like I don't write well at home, and that place is now home, so I gotta go somewhere else to write. But also I needed to just kind of write for the sake of writing first, and kind of get all of that out. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes it's hard to focus if you have like so many things in front of the way. So I had to kind of wash all that out and get those things out of the way. So that's the main thing I did, kind of making myself useful. I've been trying to figure out how. It's one thing to say you want to do better, but then you have to figure out how to actually do it, how to actually implement it. So the implementation is far more challenging than the figuring out.
1000%, man. I feel you on that, but I don't know why. For whatever reason, when you at home in your room writing down, that LL just started playing.
I'm not alone in my room. Sometimes I stare at the wall. And
In the back of his mind,
I
you
hear
know
my
what he-
conscience call.
If I'm listening to L, I'm listening to Pink Cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by a building.
All right, so now, folks, like we said, we're returning to the new show. Some habits are hard to change. You know, some things are going to be a little bit more the same, and hopefully we're all still elevating this idea. So I don't know what Corey's doing with the pink cookies and all the rest of
That
that.
is an
kind of
actual LL Cool J
stuff.
track,
I
sir.
know.
Pink
I
cookies in a
appreciate,
plastic bag getting crushed by buildings.
That's the joint.
appreciate all of that, man.
Almost as good as my I'm like a shark fan. Remember the joint he did?
Nah, that was trash.
For
We're going to let him
the
keep
deepest,
Deep Blue
bluest.
Sea. We're gonna let him keep. We're gonna let LL keep all of them trash ass bars.
That was a third
Had
L
is
on
like
that.
a shark
He had
man.
to add a third L to his name for that. He's LLL Cool
We
J
was just
now.
calling him Todd at that point. It was like, cut it out, Todd.
Come on, man.
Todd, take that shit back home. Go to NCSI, whatever the fuck he was on.
Yo, shout out to
Stop.
the rappers who did one more album than they should have.
Stop. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And speaking of people doing one more thing than they should have, goddamn it, we gotta get this show started.
Let's go.
Let's jump into this week. You know what time it is. My new listeners out there, hey, check this out. We got this thing that we like to do at this point in time. It is going to be ripped from the headlines. And this is our segment where we give you an inside look into some of the happenings during the week of wellness that we had just happened to witness. Now, fellas, I know that everybody in this coalition of the willing is going through all different types of things when it comes to dealing with the lack of having a gym in this post-COVID era, right? So across the nation, some places are opening up, some places are still getting closed. And inside of the good, the bad, and the ugly this week, I want to talk a little bit about the difficulties in adjusting to this new COVID reality. And what has happened on the good side is that people have been embarking on more outdoor workouts across the nation. So the outdoor workout boom has been taking off and going all around in the metropolitan areas in particular. Time magazine is doing an article about how Americans turning to this great outdoors for fitness may in fact be impacting some of the things that have been making people a little bit more susceptible to this COVID virus. Now, I know I've been on the bike riding around, pulled up to Williamsburg, I see what it looks like on the waterfront. I pulled up to Fort Greene Park, I see what it looks like on the park side. I see the fitness leaders and instructors doing all different types of classes out here, right? So I love seeing people out on that front and being as dynamic as possible and trying to still offer a lot of the different types of conditioning programs that they have inside here, specifically in a time where consumer confidence to return to the gym is very low, because gyms innately are places that harbor all different types of bacteria. And this is one of the reasons why we're going to be the last places to get that green sign to go ahead. So we have to be able to pivot and be innovative in terms of really coming up with something that is going to be a solution to keep people healthy as we go through, right? So I want to give a round of applause to the people that are doing the best at keeping the outdoor workouts going forward. And inside of that, the article goes on to detail about a little bit more of some of the things that you should do and not do when you're running your outdoor fitness business inside here. So I wanted to ask the guys inside here, as professionals in this space, what are some good tips to do or not do when you're conducting your classes or your personal training sessions outdoors? You guys have any insight on that?
I would definitely say make sure you're keeping a safe distance for sure, making sure that you have enough space to do the things that you need to do. Seen a lot of people have the thermometer ready. So, like, if you're a coach, I think it's your responsibility to make sure that you have the thermometer, make sure everybody's...
You keep in a safe environment, for sure.
At the appropriate temperature for what they need to be at. I think safety first is just always going to be the number one protocol for everything.
For sure. You should adhere to your local area recommendations for what safety should be when conducting large groups of people moving around, right? But I'm going to give you a quick little list. So it was the BYOM. That was bring your own mat. Don't be using anybody else's mat out here.
What? That was never a thing.
It could have been.
Was that a thing?
People was using other mats. You've gone to classes where they had mats there that you didn't bring your own mat?
I mean, this is true, but
BYOM.
that was in a studio space. This is not outdoors.
I'm just trying to let people know BYOM. Now, I don't know. They might be down with a whole different team. I'm going to say stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hot as hell outside. You must stay hydrated because being dehydrated will make you more susceptible to having a weakened immune system. So please do keep in mind that. And I would say at the very last part, just like we've heard in other places before, when we're in places that have high amounts of contact and a lot of people been there, observe this rule. No glove, no love, folks. That's right. No glove. No love.
I'm going to let that one go.
That's going to be it from the good. We're going to skate right past that. You can't be touching a lot of surfaces that other people touch.
I ain't touching glove on. Nothing that I don't want to touch.
You ain't supposed to be out here touching surfaces anyway.
Listen, no glove, no love. That's all right. If you're getting your pull-ups on and you got 20 people deep on the pull-up line and you touching that, that's a contact contamination situation that you're waiting for. So we don't need that, man. We need to stay away from that. No glove, no love. Make sure you keep that thing moving. I'm just trying to give people the rules to live by, to observe, and be able to get your fitness on.
I was about to say pull out of the pull out.
No,
You gonna pull up?
pull
at the
yourself
pull-outs?
out of the pull up is what you need to do if you
Pull
don't
out
have
of the
glove.
pull-ups.
Yeah, don't be in that line. We're gonna transition from the good into the bad for this week, and
That wasn't the bad.
that wasn't the bad. That was the good side.
sounded bad as hell.
Pulling out of the pull-ups.
I gotta wrap it up to work out now.
You should, man. You gotta stay. You need your PPE. You need your
Whoa,
PPE when
whoa.
you're working out.
Your PP's on E.
PPE, Corey, personal protective equipment, right? So we're gonna move past that, and we're gonna go into our next conversation. And unfortunately, some of our coalition of the willing guys are not paying attention to the guidelines that we're giving out here in terms of what we need to do to keep everyone safe on a community-wide level. So when I saw that 8 Eastern Washington fitness centers have been fined for violating the laws to remain shut down during the epidemic for a total of $77,000, I had to stop and take a look and understand $77,000 to an individual business is going to be a lot of money at a time where you're probably not making a lot of money. So the government is being really serious about people opening up their doors before they should be, and what's cracking down is going to start to look like. I could tell you right now that as I've ridden around in New York City, I've seen some people open up their doors before they should be. And I want to say you got to be careful because you're playing with fire. These fines are hefty fines. Combined with the fact that we haven't been making the money that we've been expecting to make for the last 4 or 5 months, it can end up having catastrophic impacts on your businesses. So, fellas, how do you first feel about people still doing this rebel culture? We're going to keep the gym open regardless of what people saying.
First off, 77,000 is a very specific amount of a number. Like that's
total
proof.
amount.
That's negotiation. That's what happened. Somebody said 100. Somebody said 50. They said it on 50. On
They trying to
77.
get you for that 77.
Let me
That's
get
what
that
they trying to
77.
get.
That
Yeah.
77.
I think that the rebel culture is not where you need to be right now. This is not the time to be the individual that wants to not follow the guidelines and the rules that have been given to us. This is when you need to fall in line so that you can save yourself and your pockets.
For sure, man.
And somebody grandmama. Somebody
what?
people.
Be
There's
conscious
human
of-
beings at risk out here.
You should be conscious of your fellow citizens out there. And I would say, in that same regard, in New York State, we're seeing the Fitness Alliance, the New York State Fitness Alliance, which this is a brand new organization I've never heard of, which is
Sound like they need off the strength.
yeah, you know, Kyle, don't jump in front of the league, Kyle. That's
My
what I was
bad,
going-
brother.
Just wasn't getting inside there, man.
Yeah,
The
down
New
south.
York State Fitness Alliance is planning protests after the governor has shut down their petition to get their gyms to open up immediately. And some are even going as far as filing class action lawsuits. I would say, why is it going to be difficult, fellas, for gyms to open up, in your opinion, just in general? Because, again, large communities or large gatherings are not opening up anytime soon. So concert venues never opening up or anytime soon this year. Things like movie theaters aren't opening up anytime soon this year. Why were gyms also included in that same list? What's some of your thoughts on that?
Well, besides the fact that it's a space where large groups of people congregate, not just in the class, but then waiting for the class. As someone who has been running boutique fitness spaces for quite a while and large box gyms as well, before that, if your space has a capacity for, say, 30 people, then you can expect to have at a given point, if you're busy, 70 people in your space at one time.
But you can't even have that, right?
So that's the point of what I'm saying. So
Yep.
It's going to exceed the numbers of large gatherings right off the bat. So we have to wait until that's something that's going to be approved. Not to mention the fact that the spaces, it's really difficult to keep places clean. It's so much of a community space. So everywhere you sit, someone sat before. Everywhere you go, someone's been before. Everything you pick up, someone else just picked up. So the challenge would also be trying to really properly police that and keep those spaces sanitized and properly maintained, along with having to reduce the numbers to the point where it would be safe, would make it challenging to be profitable to begin with.
Well, your business just wasn't built off of that.
That's
number
not what it's
anyway.
made for.
Right. So the price per square foot model in this day and age, in this climate,
Has to be cut in half.
Has to be cut in half. And
At
is
least.
an
Depends.
It's an impossible model to keep up based off of the demands of the system, right? Unless you start making those prices maybe 3 times what they originally cost, it's never going to work out. Who's going to pay for that?
It's unlikely to get people to spend $90 for a fitness class.
But that's what it would
But
have
that's what
to
it would
do
have to be in
to
order
logically
cover
balance
things.
that out.
Yeah, you're looking like
right?
an $85 to $95 price point to run a class. That's crazy.
So in lieu of that, guys, there's going to be some real problems that the New York Fitness Alliance is going to have to face. Now, if there was only a group of people, here you go, Kyle, here's your chance right now, that that can give them some information as to how, one, they get a better PR, two, they get better marketing, and three, they put the essential sauce on their product. Where would they have to go, Kyle, to get this information?
Off the strength.
There we go, Kyle. That's nice. We tied it
OTS,
together.
there it is. It's
Yeah,
right there.
Nice. And then we're gonna move from the bad.
You really got that. I was worried
He
for a
got it.
second, and you
He
got
got
it.
it.
You got it. Shout out to you.
He stuck the landing. He got that.
I thought I was going to go with something else.
Who's gonna vote you off this island right now? Your candle would have been extinguished.
You going to put my tiki torch out?
Yeah, exactly. We was gonna put you out right here, right now. And speaking about putting people out right here, right now, we got moving to the ugly this week, folks.
Give me the ugly, baby.
The ugly is unfortunately having to deal with Chapter 11. That's right, folks, with predictions in our industry having upwards to 40 to 60% reduction. I'm going to say that again. 40 to 60% reduction in the businesses that exist in this industry happening across the next 24-month cycle. We are already starting to see some icon legacy brands showing signs of weakness inside this tumultuous time.
Your favorite trainer about to be your favorite accountant.
Yeah, something. I've seen, no, real
Your
talk.
favorite OnlyFans.
Hey, see, that's why we had to get to the OnlyFans. I was trying to set you up early, man. No, seriously, in this world, fellas, it's unfortunate because I do know a lot of people that still are trying to figure out what else to do, how they expand on their skill sets, and how they actually get back to the money. So when 24-Hour Fitness files for Chapter 11 and closes 130 locations, there's a lot of people that are going to be out of jobs at those 130 locations. And then when I see Gold's Gym is seeking to file for Chapter 11 soon, we're talking about legacy iconic brands on the big scale. What does that mean for the small businesses?
That's like when Lehman Brothers went under.
That's exactly the point, right? So we're looking at something that is, there's a lot of places that are too big to fail in the fitness side that are definitely already starting to fail. If they are having a rough go about it, what does that mean for the sake of the fitness industry as we once knew it? How do you guys feel about that? And what's some of the predictions that you might have going down the line?
Well, every time there's a major crisis or some chaotic change, we evolve. So the industry is going to evolve, and hopefully it evolves for the better. That's the question, and that's the thing that's challenging and scary, honestly, for people who are really devoted to this industry, is that we change the right way, and we change for the purpose of making a better experience for people and giving everyone the opportunity to really get the fitness that they want, and also still paying fitness professionals, well, actually starting to pay fitness professionals for what they actually do well. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we don't really know exactly where the pivot is going to turn. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. People are trying to figure that out. But in the midst of this, we have to be very cautious about what we allow people to give us. Don't just take anything. Don't just show up to spots that are giving you less than what you offered if you don't feel like it's worth it, because one of the things that tends to happen when things get lean, they just give you less.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate of that and just to understand that in the full spectrum of it, across the industry, when everybody is reducing on some level, to make your ask at the full potential as it could have had at when the market was at its high might not necessarily be advantageous for you.
No, I'm not saying. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that you would expect the same experience.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is I expect effort.
Okay.
Don't just dial in and give me anything. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between showing intention and trying to put out the best product and trying to put the effort in to make things happen properly and keep everybody safe and do the best you can, understanding that you do have to maintain a business versus just throwing out something so you can open your door.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it a buck for you. A lot of these people needed to get out of the way anyway.
Facts.
I'm going to keep it a buck for you. A lot of these people were doing the fly-by-night fitness stuff, and it's not going to cut it today because you have to do a lot more. You have to actually care about the industry right now. To stay in this industry, I kind of This is what made me, baby. This is where I get excited because we came in with the passion to actually make this thing something that is going to transcend people's lives. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who threw a bunch of money at a problem and didn't understand that that problem had a lot of nuances that were dedicated to the community that you were building, that was dedicated to the outcomes that you wanted to see, and that you actually had to learn some stuff inside there.
Yeah, you can't win with marketing in this current day.
This ain't gonna be and especially if that marketing is looking funny.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. If you're gonna put this marketing out here and you're gonna show me a bunch of people that I don't see anywhere up the chain,
where she be at? I ain't never seen her.
Never seen them. What's going on? This is not happening in this class.
No more white Jesus rapper statues.
Hey, check this out. You put the big bronze.
The Biggie Buddha.
You pick.
White Jesus rapper statues.
We're going to have to look at these people.
My bad.
I wish somebody would say that right now today.
The Biggie Buddha?
I think that in today's climate, you're going to have a lot of stuff that you got to answer about that you got away with on the slide before.
Yeah, I might want to take that out your store before you open up.
The store ain't even open yet, but we
you might want to take that
understand that we noticing what we were supposed to notice in that standpoint. Kyle, what do you feel on that, man?
Woo. You know, I just want to make it hurt less, you know. You know? But no, man, I think what I predict for the future is that everything that you were saying, I think people need to put that focus into real wellness on their own as opposed to putting it into their places that didn't have wellness in the forefront in the first place. You know, these people that were selling this square footage, it's not the same anymore, and you can't expect someone to come in and do more than what you were paying them for already, because they was already getting less. They wasn't getting the lion's share of it. So in the future, I think that people are just going to take their own wellness into their own account, more outdoor workouts. I want to see the outdoor workout in the winter. What you doing in the snow?
You know how I'm giving it up.
Well, you know the real hoopers was out there with Timbs and the rusted.
That's what I'm saying. So this outdoor workout could be
keep that same energy
all year round. Don't just give it to me in the summer. Give it to me in the winter, in the fall, in the spring, and put your wellness first before you put it into another place.
I'm here for that, man. And it's going to be a time where I think, guys, the wellness industry is going to have to actually be accountable for the results of the individuals. Before, we were okay with selling you shiny suit stuff, realistically.
Yeah.
We was giving you all the shiny suit, but if you got fit, take that. But if you got fit, it was kind of like, okay, you got fit, but we were selling you the shiny suit theory, right? Now, every company has to be present with what well-being actually means. Every company has to be present with what your bottom line having to have some kind of impact on your social climate that you're in, what your community is based off of. All of these things are going to be integrally important to the success of your company going forward. One would say that these companies need to have higher standards. One would say that these companies
need to leave hip-hop alone.
No. We could embrace this hip-hop, right? And I think
I agree.
This chill. You know what? I'm going to put this out here. Our commodity, our real vibranium, is this thing that we call hip-hop culture that we trade way too far, way too fair, way too readily.
We didn't trade this. We didn't trade Biggie Buddha. They took it. Ain't nobody signed off on Biggie Buddha.
If everybody actually had an alliance to call that out at the right point in time, when you see this infarction in our culture and say, what is this? Like we are now, if we could say that honestly in front of the investors, no, this can't be okay. When you put Spike Lee on the wall and don't know nothing about Spike Lee's life and we call you out for that, okay, now we talking about real accountability. Now we moving in that direction. Now we talking about, Corey, a moment of goddamn clarity is what I'm trying to bring about inside this place. You know what I'm saying, man? I need people to be crystal clear on the outcomes that are coming down this line. And I say thank God for giving me this moment of clarity. Corey, let's go ahead and let the people know what's going on this week in this moment of clarity.
Thank God for giving me this moment of clarity. Talk about a change in perspective, because the perspective really did change a lot for me. I know it changed for a lot of people, and hopefully if it hasn't changed for you yet, it will soon, because we started with isolation. We went to self-reflection and wearing masks that may or may not prevent the infection, but it definitely masked the expressions. You couldn't really tell what people were saying. You can't really tell what people are doing. You have to look, you have to pay attention more. So someone that has a mask, you don't see the bottom of their mouth moving. You don't see all the other parts that are engaged in expression, and you have to pay attention. And what it ends up leading to is understanding misinformation. The sketchy details of things can lead to fear, and you get confused, and confusion is an emotion that no one is very comfortable with. No one handles well, and the masses have been confused, and that led to a lot of fear. And then that fear is the constant systemic and systematic racism, the brutality, the criminal justice system, police, prisons, all the things that we had to deal with been highlighted on TV and your phones and your lives. It's unavoidable. It's in your face, and it leads to anger. Anger is another emotion that people aren't very comfortable with. People don't know how to handle well. And it ends up having you forced to be trapped in this room, trapped in this space, trapped in your apartment, not doing the same traveling you were, not seeing things the same way, and trapped in your community. Most people, when they go get groceries, they get them hyper locally or they get them delivered. They don't do a lot of the same things they used to do. They don't move around in the same spaces, and your circle got smaller. So now we attempt to reestablish, and really we need to redefine what normal is. We start to understand that you get to redefine normal. You get to change normal. Everything else has changed. So look at what your goals are and change those. Look at what your relationships are and change those. Look at everything that you had to define you. You get to now change that idea because you have a different perspective. And the beauty of redefinition is that in its lack of limitations, you get the perspective. You get the ideas. You get to see. So I want to really thank God for this moment of clarity, because this, of everything that has ever happened in my personal life, this is the biggest moment of clarity I've ever had. It was forced upon me. I was forced to deal with all these things, and now I get to see things very clearly and see things very differently and approach my life very differently. And I hope that it does the same thing for everyone else. So what I want to ask you, I'm going to start with Kyle, my man.
What up?
Yo, the sense of perspective has changed. Your work life has changed. Everything is a little different now, right? So how are you looking at it differently? How is the perspective different for you, and what are you doing with that?
The perspective has definitely changed a lot. I think for this moment of clarity in particular, I suffered from I'm going to step out on this vulnerable plank just a little bit, just walk out on there.
You with your boys, man.
I feel like I stepped out onto somewhat of an imposter syndrome sometimes, just because I was in these spaces and doing these things that, like, am I really this person? Like, can I actually do this? Can I actually accomplish what I set out to do? And having this time to reflect and see and reiterate how dope I am, and Carlos, and Brother Los's words, it's just like, damn, like, I'm actually able to do these things that I said I can do, and I'm actually qualified to do these things that I set out to do. So with that being said, I think the moment of clarity was great for perspective shift, and it allowed me to tap into my entrepreneurial spirit and just bet on myself. When times get hard, you can't run from yourself, no matter how far you go. So I think being able to put that energy to yourself and bet on yourself and revitalize yourself is what this moment is for, and what the perspective shift is for.
Now, thank you, brother. That was stepping out there.
Dragonfly Jones.
I appreciate that, man. Tone, as a very regimented dude, as a dude who like functions on ritual and set planning, has your first off, and I'm not even going to assume it changed. Has your ritual changed? Has your wake up, your everyday, your day to day, your planning, your put together? How has that changed at all?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think anybody who hasn't changed their experience in this day and age that we living in right now might be robbing themselves of an opportunity for real growth to happen, similar to what my brother Jones just echoed over on that side. I wanted to walk out of all of the uncertainty that was bestowed upon us this year, knowing myself better than I've known myself in any of the preceding years of my life. With that as a goal, my ritual had to change reflectively inside there. With that as a goal, that meant that I had to make myself accountable for the things that I noticed. I had to make myself accountable for the things that I was embodying and things that I was imbuing when I was taking actions across all of what I knew to be reality. What I found out that Corey, more often than not, reality is a suggestion. And it's a fragile suggestion at that. And I don't know if people really pull that in as powerfully as they should, but this year in and of itself should tell you that all the things that you thought you knew were true are just a matter of a whisper away from not being true at all. So with that, I had to find purpose, value, and perspective in things that were going to be, I'd say, more rooted into what my natural cause was going to have. Right. And I always will feel like I know what my talents are going to be, and I know what my perspective is going to be, and I know what I'm called to do to a high level. I know at this point in my life, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. How often was I showing up for myself in those areas? How often was I showing up for my community in those areas in that way? How often was I showing up to the people that I value and care for in my life in that way? And if I couldn't evaluate that all around in a real comprehensive way, then I was robbing myself of the potential to make actual change happen inside there. So in an omnipresent way, every ritual had to change because reality had to change, because we don't face the same situations that we were facing in the history that we have previously.
Has your daily day-to-day ritual changed, Kyle?
Most definitely. I think, like Tone said, I can't echo that sentiment enough. Your reality changed. And as it is a suggestion, you have to change. And I think for me, it was learning how to be your own boss. A lot of times we take on these jobs and you wait for that other person to dictate what it is you need to do for your day. Like, yo, I need this by that time, this by that, and you move accordingly. But when you're your own boss, you got to be like, yo, get up. Let's go clean that bathroom up. All right, cool. You did that. All right, now knock these emails out. All right, cool. You knock these emails out. All right, work on that creative work that you wanted to work on. Cool. And make that phone call that you wanted to do. So having that same appraisal for self as someone would when you were working that 9 to 5 or whatever your hours of work were, I think it just has to change. Like, everything about that has to change.
And also the value that you put to task. Or I would say that selfishly. I don't mean to put that on to anybody else, but I can't care as much about outcomes in a space where outcomes aren't guaranteed. I can't care as much about checking a box when tomorrow that box might not mean shit at all. You know what I mean? And that's a very real scenario. So what should I care about? Like, where's my family at right now? You know, in this day and present. Like, when's the last time I had a meaningful conversation with somebody that I actually love? When's the last time that I seen a sunset and I actually took that in? What's the stuff that I can't put price tags on that I could get value at? How am I winning at this game that is life? Like, that's what I'm talking about when I get to the real of the ritual stuff. All this other stuff, like yo, on some real stuff, like what homie Dennis Rodman said, yo, I get paid to deal with all the extra bullshit.
Basketball is the easy part.
This, like solving problems, coming up with different creative stuff and all the rest of that, yo, that's cool. That's easy money, baby. Get out of the way. That's the only thing I ever really need somebody to do. Get out of the way and give me the resources that I need, and we're going to get that thing to go from 0 to 100 real quick every time. Put the bomb on that. It's happening, right? Outside of that, okay, now that can't be, it's not enough for me to be successful. If it was enough for me to be successful, I would have finished this race a long time ago. I got to get I got to get all the homies back to where I want to go. I got to get all the family up to where I want to go. So that work, different ritual, different purpose, different context.
I think what mainly changed for me is that all my rituals became one thing. I used to be a different type of focus when I'm working, a different type of focus when I'm in a social setting, a different type of focus in relationships, almost a different type of person as far as what I set my goals for. And the reality is that was bullshit. If you are this person, then you need to be this person consistently and all the time. And if you want to be positively affecting people, then you can't disregard what you do in your social life and disregard what you do in your relationship life and disregard what you do in your romantic life. You have to be always looking to improve and to make things better around you in all the different aspects of your life. And that was a thing I definitely was not doing. So I think the biggest perspective that I got from it, with all the eloquence and all the things said, is that my whole life has to change, not just different aspects at particular times when it became convenient for me.
That's what's up, fam. So you uplifted your own standards. In other words, you raise the bar is what you're telling people out here. Yo, that's what's up, fam. I like that. And if we're going to uplift the standards, bench press them joints, if you will. I forgot what it feels like to be underneath a bench. You know, I'm still out here forgetting that. You know, I need that in my life. But if I had to raise a bar,
Get it up off your chest, brother.
Homie, who I got to go to get this bar raised up? What's up, man? Let me know. What's going on?
What's going on? I mean, we going to raise the bar for sure. I want to start off with a couple shout-outs this week, actually. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a couple people that have been out here raising the bar individually, and I just want to show them love real quick.
Raise it up.
Shout out to my man Ricky Shubio, family, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Ricky. What's up, homie?
Shout out to him, Space Camp Fresh on the IG, and he was out here and he did a live sneaker battle on Life at Complex. So he did 5 rounds of some fire kicks. Like, I was like, yo, my man is out here. And he also just did a little thing with Bentley, and he out here. You check up on my man. You know
Shout out to Ricky out here.
Shout out to Ricky. Shout out to my man Cloudy Visions.
Cloudy Visions.
The artist out here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. What's up, homie?
I finally purchased a piece. You know what I mean? I'm in that financial stability in life. You know what I'm
getting
saying?
some art in your situation.
Okay, you got some art?
Well, I got some art.
Got some art for the hort?
Original art for the hort? Original pieces in the piece?
Some original pieces in the crib. So it not only felt good to be able to support someone that you believe in and appreciate, but it just felt good to have that hanging in the crib as well.
No doubt. I'm going to give you a piece of player code right here. Make sure you insure that shit today.
Yes.
Player code right there.
Do not insure it later when the value goes up.
We're going to talk about that offline because I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. But nonetheless, shout out to the brother Cloudy Visions, man. Make sure you follow up with him. Now, in true fashion, as we've been doing post-pandemic.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start the bar low, then we're going to raise it up a little bit higher.
Raise it up.
You know what I'm saying?
Raise it up.
The bar is low. When you take it off, you know what I'm saying? It's on the chest. It's laying there, and then you got to lift it up. So we're going to start low and follow up. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I'm with you.
Now, low bar this week, man, we're talking about the Major League Baseball League, man. They've been struggling with COVID testing out here. And
they ain't been good at testing anything.
This is true. You know, Jose Canseco, you throw them all out there. It's been a bad time for testing. But I think about the nastiness of the sport of baseball. The tobacco chewing, the spitting, the dirt, the ball. It's just not a good look.
Are the pants itchy? Because they always scratching something.
They always scratching.
Listen, man.
It's not a good look, man.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I had to do a few different rounds of rotations as an undergrad student for different sports teams, as a athletic trainer and as a strength and conditioning coach. The people that we ran across with the most problems when it came to hygienic-based issues were undoubtedly baseball players. I'm talking about people who came habitually was wearing the same socks because they was on a hitting streak. Then ended up getting MRSA.
Yeah, they be wilding with that.
Like stuff in that nature is just kind of like a little.
It's a nasty sport.
No, we
man.
won, so I ain't gonna wash it. That's the craziest thing.
I've worn this shirt for a year straight. What's that green stuff on it? You don't need that.
Every time I wear this shirt, I got a headache.
Yeah, man. Nah, but I hit good, so I hit good through the headache.
You know, am I hopeful? I hope that they get things together, but you know, prayers to them. Now, staying in the sports arena, have y'all gentlemen caught any of the NBA bubble games?
Highlight strictly.
I have.
Highlight reels is cool, man. I just appreciate the stance that they've taken on not only the health of the players and individuals, but the social justice protesting that they've been doing as well too. So from Black Lives Matter on the courts to LeBron and the Clippers taking a knee for the national anthem, like that was once a problematic thing in the NFL, but now it's happening in the NBA. So for things like it's small changes, but it means a lot for the world to see, you know?
Yeah.
How you gentlemen feeling on that?
Our culture is so focused on what celebrities and athletes do. Unfortunately, far more focused than they are on people who have the at least experience to be doing the things that they actually do. But nonetheless, because that is a fact, it is, like you said, very important what the NBA does, what these athletes are doing. And this is the sport where you get to see their face.
For sure.
So it makes a big difference.
And what messages they put on the back of their jerseys as well.
That was a big move. There was a lot of moves that the commissioner did that really moved things forward and showed that there was some actual thought in action done with the NBA, and the other sports are looking very different in comparison.
Yeah, it's a proactive solution that's thoughtful and that also is respectful to the demands of the times. And I think that the NBA will be one of the sports that actually ends up being at the benefactor of having this constraint put upon them, because everybody else is still trying to figure out how to make their sport just viable minimally. But the NBA can thrive in this kind of scenario, and they can come up with different ways to play this out for the foreseeable 24 to 12 months. That's what the timetable is looking like.
Yo, the digital fan setup was crazy.
Yeah,
That's fire.
That's actually pretty cool. I'm not
cool.
mad at that. Now, keeping things in line with the NBA, have you seen your man Jermaine Cole out here with the Puma sneaker release, the RS Dreamer?
You talking about future NBA player, Jay?
Basketball. Future Detroit Pistons. Because this man manifested. He went on KOD, said it's only 12 slots on the Pistons. The Pistons tweeted him like, yo, Jay, holla at us, man. We might have that spot for you on the Pistons squad. So, I mean, how do you feel about not only J. Cole dropping a sneaker as a rapper, he's dropping a basketball sneaker for one. For two, he's also trying out to be on the NBA roster, which hasn't been seen from a rapper since Master P.
Yep.
Legitimately.
For
And
this,
Master
Didn't
P
Slim
is
Thug,
inducing him.
did Slim Thug get on the roster?
nah, I don't think so.
Nah, he might have had like a 2-day contract,
Okay.
and it didn't work out for him.
So here's what I will say. In this day and age, I want to champion everybody for doing anything that's positive, going in their direction and putting out stuff. So I'm going to find the good in this story is that this man is putting out product in a down year, and people will buy that product. So that sneaker, I hope it does the best that it possibly can. You know, this man is
No, it's doing numbers. It's sold out.
See,
Quick.
there we go. That's all I did. J. Cole has real fans and a dedicated fan base that will travel with him. I'm a Cole fan, so I love to hear what he's working on and seeing where he's going. I want to understand that the Pistons is taking up that contract, and they definitely got some room for somebody to be on that team.
Yeah, he got lots of room on that team, boy.
You know what I mean? And that's where I'm going to leave my comment. That's going to be the end of my comment. I'm going to stay on the positive side of that, and I'm going to hope for the best for everything else that comes outside of that, because I'm moving in a direction to be positive in this day and age for people taking new ventures on.
Tone is leaving us with the good. Brother Corey, how you feeling about that?
I want to see his defense. I know he can shoot. I've seen him shoot. I want to see the defense.
Now, being as though that we both are gentlemen of locks, and Cole's particular freeform style of locks just hasn't been seen in the NBA, which is, I don't know if that's going to work for him, man. You know, like,
I feel like that probably won't be the biggest challenge.
That's
he
not the
has
first
to face.
thing.
That's not the biggest challenge.
It's on
he
the
has to
list.
face. It's in there.
It's on the
but
list.
it's behind ankles.
Say less. You know, I mean, we're gonna move up on out of that. And
We're a long way from St. John's University, player. That's all I got to say to that.
But the man's shot is water.
With
The
nobody in
man's
front of
shot is water.
You know, now we're gonna slide into the Versus platform, which we spoke about briefly before, but I think that I want to definitely give the shout out to an idea of something that was birthed in quarantine that's now turned into a business and now gets these worldwide looks. And the last one was just Rick Ross and 2 Chainz, which I know y'all brothers didn't get a chance to get because it's not where you at in life. So I'm unpacking for you a little bit. It was a dope battle. I think that they are a lot more similar than they are not, for one. And for two, I think that Rick Ross executed this perfectly for 2 reasons. First reason being he released unreleased verses that we never heard. So he had a verse on the Kanye song with Rihanna that was on Life of Pablo. Forgot the name of it. Somebody's going to remember. And he also put out What's Free verse that we never heard before. 2 Chainz leveled up by bringing 2 strippers out for Man I Love the Strippers, essential workers as he called them. And it was a whole vibe, if you will.
There we go.
Nonetheless, I just wanted to shout that out. And I think that, you know, you didn't catch this versus, but did you catch the Snoop and DMX by any chance, or any ones before that in between this quarantine?
I definitely saw the Snoop and DMX. I definitely checked in on a few of the verses battles. Shout out to, you know, everybody that's putting that stuff on. Swiss and Timbaland for coming up with the concept, for being able to elevate that concept into an actual business and take that business to the right channels to solidify that on an entrepreneurial level. Again, I'm gonna celebrate all the good on that side.
All the good.
Seeing guys who are already in a profound and distinct destination, coming up with new business and then cultivating that new business and using the impact that our culture has on mass society to reinvest their value somewhere else is going to be something I'm always going to champion.
I'm just glad that Teddy Riley could crawl so that DMX could walk.
Yeah. Now that Teddy Riley thing, we would need to forget about that whole thing.
But we moved. It was the first thing ain't always pretty, but it worked out.
You know,
we here now.
You know what I think Teddy Riley didn't have? He didn't have that WAP. That's what he didn't have.
we just gonna go slide right past that. We're just gonna let that move. I'm gonna let you know that Teddy Riley got some WAP in his day, man. Teddy Riley's been around for way too long.
He should have brought out the essential workers.
Yeah,
that would have been a whole
he
other
had
show.
that work. Yeah. He would have made that work for sure.
I just want WAP to be as socially accepted as BDE was, and I ain't gonna unpack that for y'all, but I think that's the equal counterpart. And I'm gonna transition right into relaxing responsibly from the WAP, because Lord knows we need.
I don't think that was responsible at all.
This is why we see. This is why we can't have you doing these transitions on this show.
You are not sending your segue, sir.
You're not allowed to do that. You took us into a whole different
that was
direction.
a no-look turnover.
That was El Chapo right there. That was
a no-look turnover right there.
I appreciate.
I'm gonna get back on D.
I appreciate what you were trying to do.
Yo, you shot a 3 on a fast breaking miss.
I appreciate what you're trying to do, Kyle, and I celebrate you for that. And you know what? We're just going.
I'm back on defense.
In this relaxation setup, Corey, I need you to set me up and let people know, because Corey, you haven't really been a part of this relax responsibly scenario.
I have not.
So you got to give the people a little bit of background of what relax responsibly means to you.
So for me, we always y'all make fun of me sometimes about Spencer Cal does, about me being different about how I go about things. So one of the things I do when I go about relaxing, regardless of how focused I am on my fitness throughout the course of the day, I like to relax with a cocktail. So I like to get that night in me. So what I do is I chill out. I run myself a nice hot bath or a shower, depending on how much time I got. I get into my stretch. I pour my cocktail up. I get myself nice and loose and ready so that when it's time for me to really get into my recovery or my sleep state, I'm ready for it. My libation is in. I'm soft and I'm supple, right? So let me tell you about the night real quick. Throw some mezcal. Get that smoky taste in there. Whiskey, go about an ounce each. It's gonna be very spirit forward. So feel free to add a little simple syrup if you want to sweeten it up a little bit, lighten it up. Go an ounce of fresh grapefruit, the apple juice. That's what we're sipping on right now. So when this show ends, we by the time I'm already relaxed personally.
If you had to give this drink a name, brother, what would you call this?
I would call it the night. Because if you have two of them, you're gonna go night.
Say less.
Appreciate you for that, my man. He's bringing into the relaxation situation the libation, Corey. I appreciate the hell out of that, my man. And inside this Relax Responsibly this week, Kyle, what did you invite for the people to try out?
This week for me, man, 2 different things in particular. One, I hit the beach on a Monday. That's a quarantine special right there. You don't know nobody going to the beach on a Monday. They ain't on a vacation. You know what I'm saying? But I hit the beach on a Monday because I was missing the feel of that hot yoga studio. So hitting the beach at like 12 on a Monday when the sun is at its peak, I was getting my hot yoga on the beach in front of the older folks. They was admiring me. I remember when I could do that with my leg. No, you didn't. You can't do it no more, Betty. But it's all good because I'm doing it for you. So that was one way that I relaxed this week, is just being able to get my feet into the sand and into the water and just kind of soaking up that earth. Aside from that, I'm back on the bike, of course. I'm out here riding. I'm in the streets. 12 o'clock boys, silly nice. You know what I'm saying? We out here. But there's a new app called Relive that allows you to track how far your bike rides go. And I found out today that I was going 30 miles per hour. Downhill. Even if it wasn't, it was you ain't do 30.
Downhill with the wind.
It's always a dude who ain't on the bike just trying to give you the knowledge, right? Like, come on, man, what's up, baby? Let me live. You know what I mean?
Let him get his 30 on, man.
Yeah, I'm human. I ain't got the little delivery man motor in the bike. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here.
Shout out to Kyle, dude, and he can't stop his legs, so he got to move for that.
I ain't even got no brakes, so doing 30 miles per hour.
You doing 30 with no brakes?
30 with no brakes, and I'm still here to talk about it. God damn it, that's an award. That's a celebration.
Salute to you, my friend. I champion Kyle for riding
How will you relax and responsibly?
as
Brother
fast as he
Tone?
possibly can. And what I'm bringing to the relaxing responsibly situation this week, my man, is I'm investing in sleep technology. That's right, folks. I'm out here trying to gang of different sleep stuff in the new crib and trying to make sure that I get my 8 hours to be as elevated as possible.
Have you tried whiskey?
I've tried the whiskey.
Have you tried the WAP?
I tried the WAP. Whiskey and WAP usually hand in hand will knock you out. Right? But, guys, I'm talking about restful, restorative sleep right now. I'm talking about that solid 8 hours coming back inside here and being able to put together the world's worth of problems on the next day. Right? So I'm talking about high-quality investments inside of the mattress, inside of the sheets that I'm on, inside of the curtains, and all the rest of that situation to make sure that I'm in the best possible scenario.
What's your thread count?
I would be happy to tell you that as soon as we get a sponsor for this segment, I will
Satin.
go into all of the different nuances that we have inside here.
Say less.
You know what I mean? So I'd love to talk about all the different fun things because there's a lot as it turns, fellas. I don't know if you know, the world of sleep tech is a pretty inspiring world right now. There's a lot of stuff happening in there. They got all types of masks and, you know, different types of cooling technology. So I want to get inside there. So hint, hint, anybody out there listening that would like me to talk about some of the dope shit that you're doing on sleep technology, you could go ahead and put your ad right inside this Relax Responsibly situation. At the very same time, you can get a spirit inside this conversation. And I'm going to leave the WAP alone. We're not going to take the WAP with us. But
OnlyFans can sponsor us for the WAP.
you know, you can go wherever you need to go
Hey.
to get this situation together. You know what I mean? Fellas, that's how I'm relaxing responsibly this week. I don't do it all the time. But when I do,
I dropped the line. I knew I was normally there.
oh, my man fumbled heavy.
I was
That's
ready.
all right.
You know
That's
what I'm
all
saying?
right. We're going to clean it up. We're going to pick back up the ball. Two turnovers in the same segment.
leave it.
That's
We
the,
gotta
that's
just
the
leave that in.
libation.
If we
hitting
edit it,
right
he gonna
there.
lie and say he didn't do it.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. We
I
relax.
don't do it
responsibly.
often, but I do it responsibly. Yeah,
Whenever we relax
it needs to
responsibly.
sound
I don't
right.
fuck up a lot, but when I do, it's on that whiskey.
It's probably because it's a little
It's on
long.
a night.
Yeah, exactly. We've been going a little long.
Look like
on
it's
that
about
side.
nighttime.
Exactly, fellas. And speaking of which, we're going to keep that moving. I appreciate you doing that. And, you know, for the sake of today's conversation, I'm excited to get more comfortable in the new home front, to be opening up new opportunities, and as we have concluded our day, to be back inside the presence of recording these podcasts and giving the people a little bit of the taste of the things that make us happy inside life. So hopefully in a time of uncertainty, we're making somebody else happy, having a little bit of levity inside their day, giving you some information that's going to arm you to move forward, and hopefully you can feel inspired to be a catalyst in somebody's life too, as we have been this time. How you guys feeling on that? Finger snaps on it. I think we can put the check in the mail, guys. That's going to be it for this one.
Deliver that one.
Once again, it's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
You're a trainer, Corey.
K.R. Jones.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace and much love to y'all. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Wash your hands.